Hi, this is Milad Rasaimanesh, and this is a program by Communist Youth Organization. In this set of programs, we're trying to focus on incident and news coming from Iran. For today, I have prepared 10 news which I'm going to go through one by one. Please stay with us. Number 1. Several earthquake victims in Kermanshah died to frostbite. The freezing cold in Kermanshah took the life of several residents of this earthquake-stricken province in Iran. The reason for the loss of these people is the ignoring and inattention of the Iranian to the catastrophic situation of the earthquake victims. The lives of a number of the people in this area are also at risk. Number 2. The Iranian regime is still arresting the cross-country protesters. Farshid Tajmiri, the student of Hamadan University, has been arrested on December 30th, 2017 by the secret police in Iran and be taken to an unknown place. Farshid's family has been informed that his health condition is concerning. Number 3. Many demonstrations all over the country have been planned and organized. I'm going to give you 2 examples as they mention demonstrations. The pensioners will demonstrate on Sunday, January the 28th, 2018, and a cross-country protest on Thursday, February the 1st, 2018 will be taking place. News number 4. The EU Parliament invited a delegation of the Iranian regime to talk about anti-terror measures last week in Brussels for a closing meeting. However, many protests have been managed. Here, Aladdin Barujadi, head of the National Security and Foreign Policy Committee of the Iranian Parliament, talks about the current protests in Iran. He is trying hard to present the situation of the protests and what happened to the protesters as a typical democratic response from the regime. Apparently, some people try to take advantage of the situation. There are only 18 protesters left in Evin prison right now, they said during the meeting. Mina Ahadi, spokesperson for Worker Communist Party of Iran, went to the European Parliament in Brussels this week. Whilst the Iranian regime had a closed meeting on anti-terror measure, Mina Ahadi went to see a handful of the EU parliamentarians. She asked them why they invited the Islamic regime to talk about the anti-terror measure when the regime is one of its biggest sponsors and perpetrators of the terrorism. She urged the EU to stop its friendly diplomatic ties with the regime and also talk about the arrested protesters and those allegedly committed suicide whilst in prison. Mina Ahadi urged the EU parliamentarians to pressure the Islamic regime to free all those arrested in the recent protests. News number 5. Report about the Iranian regime sent 6 armed bodyguards to protect ژانویه after his whereabouts in Germany became known. The bodyguards, however, had to leave their weapons behind before they could enter Germany. The prosecution has started preliminary investigation to see where they can make a case for crime against humanity against ژانویه. News number 6. The woman who had taken off her headscarf in Revolution Street in Tehran has reportedly been arrested. Vida Mowahed, 30 years old, who is known as the Revolution Street Girl, is now in prison. There is no information about her situation and the place she's been jailed. There is a massive demand from all around the world for her immediate release. News number 7. It is forbidden for women in Iran to play instruments. This has This has led many concerts and music events to be cancelled by the artists to protest against such a sexist law in Iran. Benjamin Badri, Iranian pop singer, as the latest example, has cancelled his concert to protest against inhibition of playing instruments for female members of the group Nagain Parsa and Mojgan Abdulfateh. News number 8. Tehran's police chief has announced that people of Iran set fire to the mosques and Basij centers. Basij is the name of a governmental force in Iran. As the recent attack, the Sadugi Religious Institute has been set on fire. News number 9. The political prisoners in Iran are under torture. And Golrakirai jail activists have been beaten and tortured by the prison guards. Hossein Daimi, Atanaz Daimi's father, has confirmed that she has been beaten by the prison guards for unknown reason. And for the last news for today, I'm gonna go through the 10 immediate decrees of the revolution of the people in Iran, published by the Worker Communist Party of Iran. Number 1. All political prisoners and detainees of the recent protests must be immediately released. Number 2. All those who ordered and those who perpetrated the crime of the Islamic Republic over the past few decades must be arrested and publicly tried. Number 3. All the suppressive forces of the Islamic Republic must be immediately dissolved. Number 4. The death penalty must be immediately abolished. The Islamic law of retaliation must be repealed. Number 5. All the properties of the people which have been plundered by the religious and state authorities and bodies must be immediately recovered and returned to the owners or used for public good and social welfare project. Number 6. Compulsory whaling and all form of gender segregation must be immediately abolished and freedom of dress must be established. All misogynistic and discriminatory laws against women must be immediately repealed. Equal rights for women in all spheres must be introduced. Religion must be totally separated from the state, the judiciary, education, etc. Full freedom to have a religion or not have a religion must be guaranteed as a private belief and affair of individuals. Number 8. Unconditional freedom of belief, expression, assembly, press, protest, strike, and organization must be established. Number 9. Legal and civil equality of all, irrespective of religion, language, nationality, ethnicity, must be immediately introduced. Number 10, and the last one, a prosperous living based on the highest standard and resources of the most advanced societies must be guaranteed for all. The minimum wage must be raised in line with these standards. Healthcare and education must be made free for all immediately. These are most important and most urgent demands, and indeed the 10 decrees of the People's Revolution against the Islamic Republic. The protests, demonstration, strike, gathering to achieve of these demands must be step up. Only with the overthrow of the Islamic Republic and the establishment of the direct rule of all women and men in Iran will these demands be achieved constantly and comprehensively. The Worker Communist Party calls on all of you workers, women and youth to turn this manifesto into the banner of the revolution that is in the making. Worker Communist Party of Iran, January the 3rd, 2018. That was the last news, and that was for today. Thanks for watching, and wait for the next program made by Communist Youth Organization. Thank you.